the newspaper.
Okay.
I just saw you were in the newspaper, Keoni. Keiki cut it out and showed it to me, and it. Oh shucks, he's singing in the background. Hold on. Sorry about that. Happy sounds. Well, I have the pleasure and the great honor to introduce Keoni DeFranco, who is our next generation leader that is really innovative in bringing people together and building the bridge between our modern technologies that are emerging, whether we like it or not, and ensuring that our voices, our local voices, our mo'olelo, and our creative ways of utilizing the technology to further our cultural practices and relationships are uplifted and honored and respected. And so he's just doing amazing, great things with lots of uh, divisions and areas in this field, which he'll share with us tonight. And so if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself further, Keoni, with your ho'olana, mahalo. And thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Auntie, for the invitation. Just want to make sure you all can see my screen.
Hey, kahuvai.
Can you guys see my screen here, the Mālama Studios overview?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That looks good. Thank you.
Aloha kako. O Keoni ko'u inoa. O Walikine Maiʻa. And yeah, I want to start here by honoring the life work of Auntie Edith Kanakaʻole, whose life work I'm a direct beneficiary of, by opening with an oli taught to me by her daughter, Dr. Kanakaʻole Kanahele. And so this oli o Wakea was traditionally used as a foundational chant before starting a new project. Kumanalai waolani ogeale paulai waolani ogeilai waolani okamoho ilai waolani oku palalai waolani agi ogu waolani ogu gala balai waolani oge pai ulai waolani ogahanu ulai waolani ogu Kumalai walani ogeale pahulai walani ilai walani oge moho ilai walani walai walani. Okay, mahalo. And so before introducing myself, I want to start with the practice that was taught to me by Kamu Inos, Moko How of Knowledge. And so this is a practice of honoring those kumu that came before you that are responsible for the ike that you share now. And so for me, that begins with Dr. Pualani Kanakaʻole Kanahele from 2014 to 2016 while I was living in New York City. Dr. Pua and Auntie Pua spent time with me actually back then over Skype, teaching me oli when I was running an organization I'll talk about a little bit later, but she really gave me, foundational spiritual gift of ike transferred and oli in a practice that I could do while I was in New York. And so I just mahalo her for taking me on as haumana, and always happy to spend time with her. Another one is Uncle Bumpy Kanahele. When I was in New York, I was able to act as a space in which Brandon, Maka'ava, and others that were traveling through the city could come and share space and have a center of Hawaiian knowledge in New York to teach from. And also an uncle that has shared a tremendous amount of ike with me and helped shape how I think in terms of economic development. I'm also honored to be a current haumana of Auntie Kikuhi Kanakaʻole as a part of Halau Ohia. And I just appreciate her now, continuing a practice of setting with now two generations of Kanaka Ole, and honoring Kamuela Enos, who is a founding board member of Purple Maiʻa Foundation, also a kumu of mine through his Kamaki Inana course, which I'll be sharing a bit more later, that is around design thinking from a Hawaiian context. I also want to uplift and honor the work of not just Kamu, but Dr. Kamana Beamer, who yesterday hosted the PO Summit in Honolulu that was focused on Hawaiian circular economic thinking, which I think they're doing really groundbreaking work in. And so while I've never been a direct haumana of Dr. Beamer, I've been tremendously inspired by his teachings, his publications, and so forth. I also want to uplift and honor my ohana. My grandmother, ohana, is the Hapai family from Hilo. My grandfather is a Naholova'a from Kona side, and both those ohana lines originally hail from Kohala. And so this is my grandmother, Sylvia Hualani Morton McGuire Ching, with her halau. She was born on the island of Molokai. My great-grandmother, Aline Monona Williams, born and raised in Hilo. And my great-great-grandmother, Amelia Ku'ule Aloha Hapai, on her wedding day in Hilo. I also want to honor that continuation of that line. So, my great-grandmother, Amelia Hapai, is featured on the first page of the Ku'e petition. She signed it, first page of the Hilo meeting for Wahine. Signed it when she was 17, featured right over here. And this is the only picture that we have of my great-great-grandmother's mother, Sarah Hapai, celebrating her wedding day. And this is my great-great-great-grandmother, Iehu Hapai, born and raised in Kohala, who eventually brought her ohana into Hilo. And then I want to celebrate my mom, who's actually on this call, Diane Lima Ching. This is her in her youth with her 5 brothers and sisters, as well as my grandfather in there, Harry Lenfong Ching, and their happy ohana, all my aunties and uncles that have co-raised me as well, and greatly affected the way that I think. And then my great-grandparents on my grandfather's side, Elizabeth Naholova'a and Harry Kanfok Ching. And then my great-great-grandfather, Solomon Naholova'a. Yeah, I'd like to bring my kupuna into the room, practice taught to me at Purple Maiʻa Foundation. But as I mentioned, I'm Keoni DeFranco. Currently serve as the managing director of Mālama Studios at the Purple Maiʻa Foundation. Prior to this, I was the founder and CEO of a technology company in New York City from 2010 to 2019. I was also born and raised on the continent in Virginia, and moved to New York actually just 2 years ago to start to help the Purple Maiʻa Foundation. And so most of my born and raised in the culture of Hawaii, but I'm a diaspora, and so started a company in 2010 in New York as a way to solve a problem I was yearning for, but also to create a center of Hawaiian knowledge in Manhattan. And so we had an office space in which Olelo could be taught, Halaus could train speakers when they came through New York City from the Pacifica region, could come and have a space, and generally just a space of organizing, understanding, and deepening our Kanaka practices. But our software itself was an award-winning secure mobile-first messaging and video conference system, heavily used in the healthcare industry, hospital systems, as well as home healthcare agencies and Fortune 500 companies. What we provided was secure calling, messaging, document sharing, video conferencing, which eventually was a telehealth solution. And so it was an incubator in New York City in 2012 called Techstars, raised a seed in a Series A, and then in 2018 was acquired by a company called Life Biosciences. And so, happy to now be home, transmitting a bit of what I learned over the years into this great organization, the Purple Maiʻa Foundation. And so we are a 9.5, 10 years in May, year-old Native Hawaiian-led nonprofit. And our mission is to educate and empower culturally engaged, community-serving technology makers and problem solvers. And we're on a mission to build a world-class Hawaiian institution that sets the standard for excellence in education, innovation, and entrepreneurship in service to land and people. And so our co-CEOs, Donovan K. Aloha and Kelsey Amos, were able to connect with me in 2016 when they were running a entrepreneurship prize called Purple Prize. And I was able to, travel to Hawaii, become a guest judge. From there, started volunteering remotely as a kumu and developing some curriculum with them. And then they expressed, if the time ever opens up, they'd love to have me on the team. And so really excited to now be leading one of our 3 departments, Mālama Studios. And so we're organized into 3 focuses. Kaikaina is our youth education. This has really been the core of Purple Maiʻa Foundation. 10 years ago, Purple Maiʻa started in one classroom, Jarrett High School, with one kumu teaching computer science to Native Hawaiian charter school students because we, organization saw a gap there. At this point, we have 50 people on staff across all these different sectors. So youth education continues to be a core pillar of what we do at this intersection of technology, innovation, and āina. But we've also grown Hiapo, our workforce development arm, and Mālama Studios, which I oversee, which is our innovation and entrepreneurship arm. And so happy to go into more of our programs as we move through this. But also want to talk through what we view as our theory of change. And I think without speaking through this, is difficult to talk about where we, how we move forward and heal. And so, we think it's important to acknowledge that, the economy of Hawaii can never upright itself without identifying occupation, land theft, and the continued oppression of our people as the root cause for the underdevelopment of Hawaii's economy. Our political leadership was imprisoned, our culture banned, our food system severed, and our economic futures co-opted and intentionally underdeveloped by those whose motivation was to exploit our resources and enrich themselves first. And so it is by design that our economy is dependent on tourism, real estate, and the military. And this is precisely why the wetlands of Lahaina dried up. But this can change. So by acknowledging this truth, we can heal and move forward and create systems of liberation to build power structures that pave an alternative future and a push to what we call Eaho, which is a new pathway to economic and political sovereignty. And so we do view land back and self-determination as core pillars of this solution. By identifying this and defining Ea as that solution, we can unite around a future that has the potential to dismantle cycles of oppression and replace them with aloha āina, vai for our communities, and the future in which our keiki can live and thrive at home. Our goal is that thriving economy, that kipuka, with a focus on local high-wage jobs, self-sufficiency, and self-determination. And we believe that cultivating a strong community of creatives working together, driven by aloha āina and Ea, provides opportunity for information sharing, innovation, collaboration, and building power together. And so this kind of defines what we see as our maki'a, or our foundational document. And so this is our commitment to achieving a circular regenerative economy for Hawaii based on aloha āina, self-determination, and political sovereignty, no kalahui. And so Eaho is identifying that Western wealth is defined by surplus value extracted from āina and people, and vai as our Hawaiian way of defining what wealth means to our community, what at its core means access to clean water, abundance, and momona for our communities. And so we view, fighting for economic sovereignty and aloha āina is our method for developing a vibrant kipuka to attract what we describe as purpleness required to build this nation, and ahupua as our economic mindset. And so to dive more into that, we really view this as our perfect model where we're trying to evolve towards how we move from what we knew with the K to what we know now as our path forward. So, our kupuna perfected how to live in a self-sufficient, regenerative, circular economic system that was based in harmony with our environment and ecosystem. And these are the ancestral practices and the technologies that we inspire from. Ahupua, Lo'ikalo, and Loko Ia are our technologies. They are inspirations, not just ancestrally, but today in real time. And through Aloha āina, through developing and creating more spaces like this, we can co-learn together and take that knowledge and build more solutions and more, āina momona for our future. And so where we take these learnings is what we call the Malaplex. And so this is our vision. of a Hawaii culture based in technology and innovation that is for and by Hawaii's people. And so we ambitiously view the next 3 years as laying tremendous groundwork to this reality by expanding our reach and scope of our programs and building connective tissue between the youth workforce and an EV-led innovation economy. In the Malaplex, we view the ability to solve these big problems in our time, to bring home real value and achieve economic sovereignty for all, to live, work across our āina in service and in people. And so this is basically our aloha innovation framework. And so this is how we map and track our work, how we support keiki from youth through entering the workforce when they graduate from high school and college, and where we see us playing our part in the ecosystem. We understand this is a āina and a lahui-wide effort. And so we want to bring what we can provide and fill those gaps as a PEVA to kind of build this power together. But this is our roadmap towards an EV-led innovation economy, which is a continual return to land, return to aloha āina as a practice, return to listening to kupuni ike in aspiration of communal vai and the shared abundance. And so this is our current program structure. So these are all live programs in the field right now. We call this our aloha innovation streams. And so this is our current portfolio at that intersection of āina, education, and entrepreneurship. And this is our current practice. And this is how we view incubating this Malaplex. And so each offering here is tailored to serve the needs of community we work with. We offer forms of programming in every one of our Hawaiian islands. In this presentation, I'm going to focus on our work in Mālama Studios, the innovation economic development work after our lahui enters the workforce. But I do want to identify, our programming for Inanna starts, before middle school, as early as 3rd grade. Our head of Kaina, Mike, runs a Future Navigators program, taking keiki from 5th to 9th grade, bringing them to different pahipana on different islands, bringing our keiki from islands to new islands and doing cultural exchanges and continuing to introduce them to new innovative technologies that are out there. Vai Studios and Kia'ikai Studios are different ways of exploring new artificial intelligence, machine learning as a way to express our time, our huaka'i within āina itself. And then Halawa Kili is our new ambitious program, described as a middle college, but it is a 4-year high school on the Windward Community College campus. These students are enrolled at Kailua High School. We'll be getting a 4-year GED education as well as early college credit and have the potential to graduate with their associate's degree, half of their business associates done, and a tremendous amount of support from community. 1 day a week, they're on huaka'i in community learning and also getting college credit from that. And we also view the model of Halawa Kili. This is the first middle college within Hawaii, early college program of this capacity as a model that can be also spread and shared to other islands. Burris Sands is a diaspora exchange program for our Kanaka Oiwi that are in college right now. So they continue to have a cohort that they can come back to on a regular basis and feel opportunities for internships from us, a space to come and just talk about what it means to be Hawaiian on the continent, and feel that they always have people that are behind them. We send them gift baskets over the course of their school year, so they're always getting food and love from us. And then once they're entering the workforce, we're introducing our other programming, which I'll get to from here. And so this is the department that I oversee. This is Mālama Studios. And we support the development of community-serving circular economic thinking. And we achieve this through training programs, business accelerators, and internal innovation. And so my department here is divided into 5 different programs: Mālama Design Studio, Mālama Venture Studio, Found Her, Digital Creators, and Kamaki Inanna. And all this is to serve this vibrant kipuka entrepreneurial ecosystem for Hawaii. And we also view this as an economic engine. So all of these programs within the Mālama Studios department cross-pollinate. And so the idea here is that we're always building new skill sets to serve the organizations that we support at the top. And so if we're working with accelerator programs, with local small businesses within our accelerator programs, we want to ensure that the haumana that are moving through our design thinking and our graphic design storytelling courses are now getting opportunities where we're able to pay them as a work-based learning experience and internship, so that they're actually building assets in real time for real Native Hawaiian businesses here that we're actively involved in and incubating. And so we see this as really a circular economic engine, and also see the potential to place these on different islands within local communities, within local mokus. The idea being, every community should be able to hire for the kind of work that we specialize in, which is authentic storytelling rooted in culture and supported by modern technology. And I'll kind of get into exactly the type of programs that we run, but I'll continue to refer to that economic engine. But this is our 2023 impact report. All the different programs that we run, the people that we've served, our team is about 7 people right now. We were able to serve over almost 400 people in the last year. We're always tracking Wahine served, we're always tracking Native Hawaiian served, and we're always trying to incubate new companies and ensure that if we're not able to, fully bring an organization into our ecosystem, that we're partnering with them and co-developing, new opportunity together. And I do want to just talk through, 11%. This is all, stats we were able to gather online. But there's a reflection here that, 11% of all businesses in Hawaii are owned by Native Hawaiians. Yet only 25% of these businesses rely on tourism, the tourism industry, for 50% of the revenue. And that's compared to non-Native Hawaiian businesses, which are almost 50% dependent on tourism. And so the existing Kanaka iwi economy does not rely on tourism today. This is Native Hawaiian owned, not necessarily the jobs. Our jobs are still, intrinsically tied, but the Native Hawaiian led businesses are not relying on tourism. And so where we see ourselves as being able to provide value is to continue to invest in scaling the economic activity in these local businesses to basically train and scale them. And so I don't have the exact numbers, but a few years ago, there was over 60,000 Native Hawaiian businesses within Hawaii. If our training programs can allow each one of those to add 1 job each, which is in the social media marketing, graphic design, storytelling component, that's 60,000 new jobs for Native Hawaiians. And so that's kind of like growth that we see. Let's support each business. Let's let them have 1 new job and support that. We can grow hundreds of thousands of jobs just from that sector. And so across the US, 9% of the workforce is employed in technology. In Hawaii, that is 5%, and only 2.6% are Kanaka Maoli today. And so to us, we just see a tremendous amount of potential growth opportunity. And so now I want to talk through our 5 different programs. The Mālama Design Studio, which is currently open for applications up until February 1st. This is co-developed in partnership with the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. It's a 9-month accelerator program created to empower Native Hawaiian founders. And so what we're providing here is graphic design, website support, branding, social media management. And we're just helping them promote the great businesses that they're already running. And so our current program supports a minimum of 1 company per island. In 2023, we've supported 10 businesses and 3 nonprofits, because we understand it's not only for-profit businesses that are driving Vai for our community, and we want to continue to ensure that our programs are rooted in āina. And in 2023, our Mālama Design Studio company supported 3 different companies from Hawaii Island. Ohana Productions, which is in the live music space, providing access to up-and-coming Native Hawaiian singers and artists, and giving them opportunity to really get like free recording, videotaped sessions, and really, professional access to professional services to launch their careers. Kanaka to Kanaka is based in Hilo, Anuhea Laurent. And she's a Native Hawaiian Wahine therapist, mental health care therapist. And so she's on a mission to normalize and empower OEV mental health care and overall well-being. And then she is using telehealth through this. And so she's created a practice in which she is providing mental health services over video conference and telehealth. And her hope is to be able to continue to scale that business, hire more therapists that are licensed and trained, and always ensure that our people have access to other OEV that are able to help them through those tough times. And then we also are excited to be partnered with Hui Mau, located in Hamakua, which is doing, I believe, incredibly groundbreaking work, restoring hundreds and hundreds of land back to its Ahupua'a system to generate food security and other benefits for the Lahui. And so our design studio program supported their efforts this year to open the first revenue generating arm, the Hui Mau Hub, to provide food security to their community. Specifically, first time, having food available for purchase. In the past, it's been free distribution. So the more that people are able to contribute in that way, if can, the more stability they have long term. They'll always have kupuna community kitchen once a month. And so this is a little bit of the work that we did. This is rooted in Wailuku, a Maui wahine run Native Hawaiian business. And so what she's providing is basically a zero waste store. She's also creating her own products, bath products, booty. That's everything from shampoos, conditioners, body wash, toothpaste, all made from locally sourced āina, base ingredients, and also supporting others that are doing the same. And so she did really fantastic work, following the tragedies in Lahaina, where, she was noticing the incredible outpour of vai from our entire pai āina, and how much of that was single waste shampoos and conditioners from hotels. And so why that is absolutely critical for those that have insecure housing. She was able to raise some community funding to start to bring refill stations, so the community could come out and refill bath and beauty products off their truck for 100% free, and again 100% locally sourced. And so we love to support her, help her tell her story in our program. We redesigned her logo, her website. We helped her launch this Maui fundraiser to support this effort. And we also gave access to our interns, right, coming out of high school, seniors at Halau Kumana that took our course, which I'll be talking about in a little bit. And then, undergraduates in college all got access to help in this branding effort, in her storytelling effort, and see a lot of that go live. Another one we want to showcase is Lyra Organics. This is another Oiwi Wahine based in Waiʻanai. And she comes from, a multi-generational lineage of La'au Lapa'au. And so she is locally sourcing, hand gathering all of her products. And she's focused on, body rubs, heat rubs, cooling rubs, all these different really nice products to have. And so we helped her migrate her website from Square to Shopify. We did the same thing in terms of helping her update her website, her labels, launch social media campaigns over the year, and again, giving access and that regenerative economic acceleration engine for our high school and college students to be able to be a part of building and launching campaigns that they got to interact with in real time. And then, as mentioned, we also work with nonprofits. So we're really proud of the work this year with Mālama Huleia, which is the Alakoko local ia fish pond on the island of Kauai. And so, when we started supporting them, we heard they had this ambitious idea, Paleke, the po'o there, of having, this 5-year anniversary celebration and a kahea out of, can we get 2,000 people to come and support the rebuilding of their kuapa, right? The rebuilding the fish pond walls that, when they first got on that āina, I believe it was, 5 years ago, everything was incredibly overgrown with mangrove. It was almost choking the Huleia River. They came and were able to fight it all back and get a tremendous amount of lo'ikalo growing to kind of feed that ecosystem, but they hadn't and basically built all the effort to get ready for this big work day. And within that work day, in one day, 2,500 people came, and they were able to rebuild that fish pond wall and now begin to generate that vai within their local. And what I've learned so much from Paleke is his thought that, local ia's function in this moment in modern history is not just to create fish for their pond, but it's to get back to what his kupuna remembers. His grandparents remember a time in which the fish blooms in that river and in that loco were just, action all the time. A tremendous amount of new fish just regenerating in that loco and how plentiful it was. And so his message right now to a lot of these early local ia is keep your, keep the gates open. And our function in this moment might be creating so much vai within the walls of the local that these fish are respawned. He believes millions to billions of fish a year theoretically in the future, and now that function is actually repopulating the reefs in the surrounding coast, and now that's actually serving the lawai'a outside the fish pond walls. And so I really love what he talks about, his 800-year vision of restoring ecosystems in that fashion. And so being able to go spend time with them, hear what they could use help with, right? These are kiai. They don't necessarily want to be on a computer building campaigns like this, but if we can sit down, our function can be, let's bring some of our students and some of our staff in on the ground, listen to your story. What do you want to be the feature in this campaign? You have such a beautiful land. He's like, I want this all to be about the pohaku, right? And so that was the storytelling we did for him, was building the wall, and helping put the kahea out, which was a lot of fun. And so now I can go into our next program, which is digital creators. And so while we have our own really talented staff of creators that on our staff, we also are constantly twice a year running training programs. And so these are building local capacity for our organizations. Our goal is that they don't have the contract outside their community when they hire long-term. So this program's function is to build a pool of qualified local creatives for local businesses and nonprofits for hire, contract, and partner for future endeavors. And so we focus here on place-based design in a Hawaiian context, early career professionals advancing their skills in digital marketing, graphic design, and storytelling. And the centerpiece of this program is our annual summer internship. As I mentioned before, where participants gain mentorship and opportunity to work with Native Hawaiian local businesses within our Mālama Design Studio program. Local capacity is a core pillar of the circular economic system that we're building. And so this is, some images of their work over the summer. It's really awesome to see them come out. This is going to be a featured T-shirt for a coffee shop that we supported the opening of in Chinatown this past year. And then we also took them through, the parallel of all the graphic design, storytelling, and branding we're teaching you is the same skill set we need when we need to put a kahea out or a petition out. We're constantly, as lahui, as much as we're trying to build, protect our wahipana when necessary, and not always with a lot of a heads up, right? Sometimes you get a call, you got to do something within 1 to 2 days, and you need someone to put the flyer out. You need someone to build that. And so sometimes the lead organizers are doing that, but if we can train another generation to build that skill set and make it second nature and train them in coordinated teams like this, we're just adding skills. And so we would do things where we give them, a challenge of, you need to build this campaign within 1 hour, build the whole social media campaign, the graphics, the copy, create the petition, make the logo, and get it out. And so giving them time constraints was a really fun and engaging way for them to kind of flex that muscle and see the cross correlation that we're doing on the branding side as well. So again, continuing to develop our lahui skill sets in the most authentic way possible. And so this was our Hoike, our demo day here at Halawi Nana, our Purple Maiʻa headquarters, and different storytellers from some of the brands I showed. So I kind of showed like the website launch for Leira Organics. There's 2 different team members on the bottom left and right showing different brand concepts that they pitched to her, different social media campaigns that they helped her launch. And then our youngest, Haumana, who's 16, who helped rebrand the Drip Studio coffee shop. And so as much as this was a great effort from our team, it was so awesome to give them access to local businesses and get that multi-generational mentorship as well. And so everyone kind of building together here. And so another program is our Kamaki Inana, KMI design thinking course. And so this trains Hawaii innovators in place-based design thinking, empowers Hawaii's innovators to practice design in a culturally grounded way. And so this is a program that was co-created with Kamu Inos and Alex Wagner from our team, and is awesome āina-wide effort that's hybrid. Some is in person, a lot of it is remote. And teaches us how to build and train and co-create in a Pono way. And then post-graduation, this cohort becomes alumni in our think tank, where we have the opportunity to fund community-based driven projects that they have. One of them was called Hawaiian Diaspora this past year, where one of our alumni wanted to create a safe space online for Kanaka Maoli that are living in the diaspora and talk about the diaspora experience, and it evolved into like, could we actually down the road create a homestay program where we get families that want to participate. We do some curriculum online. We bring our OEV home, potentially for the first time, pay for their flights, have a place for them to stay, and then bring them into local community lo'i, aloha weaving, to just meet community, feel feel invited home, find their roots, and then when they go back home, always know that they have community to go back to. And so we hope we can, put that project together in the future. And this is us being able to incubate ideas we could never think of. But if, they're coming through our curriculum and we can help give them a little bit of funding to get some awesome ideas off the ground, we do that. And we have dozens of projects like that. And then Designing a Nation is our partnership with Uncle Bumpy and Brandon to bring some of our learners up to the Pu'uhonua o Waimanalo, study their ahupua'a restoration efforts, the innovative technologies they're using up there. One of our KMI alumni, John Garcia, launched an app called the Exchange Avenue, which is a bartering system. And he's also helped them set up their own Wi-Fi. So it's a community-based Wi-Fi program up there that they've been able to provide. And most recently, they've been helping Auntie Twinkle on the west side within her Pu'uhonua get access to the internet as well. And most importantly, train that community to be able to run that IP server themselves. And so that's another program that we operate twice a year. And so, as we're kind of like creating these kupuka and sort of bringing in Vai, the idea is like, can we actually bring some of these concepts to market? And that's our Mālama Venture Studio. So we describe this as a sandbox where we work alongside Hawaii founders to turn an idea and a proof of concept into a business strategy, financial model with connections to funding. And so these are three of the programs that we've been incubating this past year. One of them is soil remediation machine learning platform, partnering with Native Hawaiian Mahi'ai across our āina. And this is an effort to demonstrate the effectiveness of traditional agroforestry and then provide intelligent recommendations to optimize soil remediation efforts. And this is called Makali'i metrics. And we just actually publicly showed the first demo this past weekend. We're also supporting coral reef growing efforts, commercializing a way of restoring our reefs as fast as possible. And actually, as of this past weekend, co-incubating a new machine learning platform that I'll share in a little bit. And then also working with local chef here, Hawaiian chef, whose kids go to local charter school, don't necessarily have access to the best food. And so we're working with him to help create farm to table meal plans to offset lunch costs. So basically this is like the public or corporations can begin to sign up for subscriptions where they're buying iPono in a box, really farm to table meal plans there. And every purchase that they make will offset lunch costs for Native Hawaiian charter school students so that we can provide them that same meal in their school every day. And so, we're tracking policy at all times, so that if you can just make a shortcut and just reduce the cost for a school and just get that food to them, even better. And so this is our venture studio model. And then I also want to uplift Found Her, which is our Wahine Run Accelerator focused on Wahine that are Asian American, Pacifica, and Native Hawaiian. And this is, the only accelerator in the United States that's specifically for women that uniquely offers a combination of capital, which is a $20,000 non-dilutive grant, family care stipend, either for someone that is, outside the family coming in and watching, or it's actually a stipend for family members that might be playing that role, which is especially challenging for early stage female founders. Mentorship and access to skill building. And so this is the program that actually is run twice. A good percent of our applicants are from Hawaii Islands, so our intentions in the future are to, maybe not to say too much, but, potentially do some Hawaii-focused programs out of this in the near future. But the third cohort of Found Her is going to be announced in the coming days, start in March and run next year. And so they've seen tremendous success. Brands like Poli Farms, EV Nails, if you've seen those āina-inspired nail designs, and Island Swim, which is a swimwear brand in Kona. And so that's like our core 5 programs. And so all that kind of culminates in these really amazing opportunities to partner, on other islands, where we believe that we can, share a bit of our learnings. And so this is actually how Auntie Susie and I met. But this is a really awesome collaboration with Revitalized Puna and Purple Maiʻa. This happened in August of this past year and was a reflection on we have all the programs that we do as opposed to trying to do a workshop of one of two of them. A lot of them are, at the end of the day, a bit business focused. Like, why don't we just celebrate the culture, the rich history, and mo'olelos in particular of Puna, a birthplace of Iake Kapolio Pele, of Laia Kawai, of Aila Au, and so many other rich stories. And so that's what we did. We came together for 3 days, really honored to be able to partner with Kahuvai and go down there and celebrate, such a core space of mana for our kupuna that continues to share such rich Ike, and go out there and, co-learn together, set expectations or set intentions, read through the mo'olelos of Puna collectively, have teams break up, and then we spent the next 2 days in Puna at the Billy Kanoi gym, basically using cutting edge technology, regenerative AI systems to storytell and basically take sections or that full, actually all did the full mo'olelos and retell that story with these new tools in one weekend as sort of a foundation setting for new programming. So everything we do, we try and do rooted in culture, rooted in intention, and provide skill building. And so, our intention is to continue the Kukai Creators Program in the coming year. And then this past weekend, we hosted Build for Good. And so this was a 3-day hackathon focused on machine learning and artificial intelligence, specifically for social impact. And so focuses were nonprofits, climate change, social justice, clean energy. And it was amazing. We had over 100 people register. Already 40 software engineers came. We had 25 community pitches, 6 teams, and 3 winners. And so our winning team, Koa Collective, was able just in 3 days to create a machine learning system and GPT out of ChatGPT, right? So it's like, why is it important to learn ChatGPT and play with it? Well, because they actually have this backend API called GPT, which you can customize and build really cool solutions with. And so they use the GPT's image recognition in an effort to assess coral health, to assist with restoration efforts. So Annalie, leader of this team, works in Maiʻa. She works in a nonprofit that is taking GoPro videos and uploading it to software that's trying to tag and track the health and vibrancy of coral replanting efforts, and they haven't found a good solution to do this. And so this is actually solving a core problem in her work right now, and that work is already interested in beginning to implement it. And so our hope is to continue to, do programs like Kukai Creators to kind of like start to build a skill set, do workshops, and eventually bring solutions like this into all of our neighbor islands. So we're continuing to be inspired by the fact that, machine learning I've done dozens of these over the years, and I've never seen people build solutions this quickly that were already able to be implemented by that 3rd day. And so it's really exciting for us. And so grounding ourselves in intention in aloha āina allows us to really think how we can help our community. Other examples of that weekend were, access for houselessness. So, creating like a intelligent, compassionate AI chat that could in real time kind of tell you all the different resources that you have. And so the reflection is, well, those that are experiencing houselessness can't really get on the computer. And so they're able to build in like a automated voice recognition AI system. And so if you can get to a phone and call this number, you can actually speak with intelligent bot at any moment that can help you find access to shelter, safety, food, child services, that kind of thing, which right now is a complication. Other people are building Olelo, taking text and getting speech out of it, and all kinds of really awesome solutions that weekend. And so almost here at the end, but coming in 2024, our intention, and I'm really honored to be speaking, to the council tonight, is to bring more Purple Maiʻa programming onto Hawaii Island in 2024 and 2025. And so we hope to continue to add Hawaii Island companies to our accelerators, more residents to our training programs, and we do have intention to build a Hawaii Island office in 2025, and build that with local community members, and with community support. But in terms of like what's coming around the corner, our Mālama Design Studio program, which I mentioned earlier, has applications open until February 1st. That's again 9 months of free access to creatives that can help grow your brand, or your business or your nonprofit. Our digital creators program is going to open applications in January, and that's going to start in March. Our founder cohort did just close applications, and they're about to announce cohort 3, but cohort 4 applications are going to be announced in fall of 2024. Our Kamaki Nana cohort, which we're super excited that some of our attendees tonight are going to be a part of, including Auntie Susie, really excited to have you a part of this. That cohort is going to start in cohort 6 is going to start in January. So that's close, but cohort 7 is going to start in fall of 2024. And then we're going to be having more Vibe Studio activations in Q1 of 2024, which is an evolution of the Kukai creators over one day. But yeah, overall intention is to collaborate and build Vibe together. And so just to kind of reflect again, these are the core programs: Kamaki Nana Design Thinking, Digital Creators Graphic Design Storytelling, the ability to offer paid work-based learning internships to really get intentional access into growing your portfolio, which is a big challenge in any training program of any kind, and then moving them into our Mālama Design Studio Accelerator, into our Mālama Studios Venture Studio, and beyond. And so we view this as one piece of the larger challenge and opportunity we have to uplift and grow Hawaii's vibrant economy. But for us, this is around Eaho, and dedicating our efforts towards Ea. We truly believe efforts to build economic sovereignty give our people many more options in pursuit of self-sufficiency, in effort to ensure that our keiki can kriv and lo to live and grow and thrive on the birth sands of their kupuna. But yeah, I want to stop there. Mahalo you all so much for joining today.
Mahalo.
Hey, Keoni, are you open for some questions?
I am, yeah. Try to save some time here at the end, but I'm in no rush.
Brad, that was a freaking amazing, man. I saw pieces of it, but never in its entirety. So that just blew me away. So first question is like, so where is all your funding coming from to fund all of these things? I mean, you got so much stuff going, man. How's it all the move?
So we've been lucky that one of our co-founder, Kelsey Amos, was an English major, really talented writer, journalist. And so from day one, she's been, working on her grant writing skills. And so, first few years, there's just a few, CS courses, and they grew from there. So this has been sort of like 10 years of intentional relationship building. A lot of our funding does come from Kamehameha schools, and other similar funds like that understand the path that we're going. Most of them are Hawaii based. Some of them are focused on like more of our biorestoration projects. And so yeah, we kind of piecemeal each department in different ways to do it that way.
Wow. What about OHA? I mean, are you guys?
So OHA funds 2 of our programs, the Mālama Design Studio and then one of our Kaikaina education programs.
Great. Okay. Anyone else have questions? You just
Yeah. So aloha. Thank you for that presentation. It was very, very good. It was unbelievable, actually. And I was born on Ocean Beach in San Diego, and I just happened upon your thing because I made the decision when I was in Hawaii that I want to study Hawaiian culture, and that sounds really radical, but I am studying architecture right now, and I have a bachelor's degree in fine art from UC Davis. I studied under Coco Fusco. I understand everything you're talking about. I even worked at Oracle for 2 years in their CRM department. So, but I went out on that boat trip on Blue Ocean Adventures, and they are Native Hawaiians who run that. And if you haven't been on it, you should go on it, because Kai and AJ who run it are locals, and they just talked the whole trip at Polihani Beach, and about their culture, about the burial grounds and the ancestors being buried there and how they were buried. And they also talked about the Forbidden Island. And since you're talking about this, I've already been writing letters, because as I said, I grew up in Ocean Beach, and the reef in Ocean Beach is dead. It's dead. We used to dive for abalone when I was a kid there, and there is no abalone there now, 0. So when he told me we're sitting on a reef and it used to be destroyed and it regenerated, and then followed that up with Disneyland is buying half of the Forbidden Island, I just want to drop that into your idea pool, because that beach in Kauai, I mean, it brought me to tears. And that's your ancestral land, and Disneyland, as you know, is a very aggressive American corporation. And if they start dumping toxic waste, as in septic, into that island, off that island, it will eventually affect those beaches. And if they start doing beach landings, so I've already have my radar on that because I saw that happen where I grew up. And so, and it's just so beautiful that I know I'm not Hawaiian, it's not my business, but I did speak to, it is my business. I mean, I'm a citizen of this planet. I'm also a Swiss citizen. I even wrote a letter to the cultural minister of Switzerland about it, because this is a world care that this culture or this land is not destroyed, you know? I mean, it is your stewardship, but everybody should care that that's not destroyed. So I just wanted to bring that up because I'm not trying to overstep. I'm just saying I immediately saw, but if Disneyland goes there, they will affect these native lands and the culture and the economy so much there. And you can't, and but that's until every ancestor on that forbidden island is not living there anymore, right? So you have a long time right now to preempt them, to look at the situation. So I'm just bringing it up because I'm very concerned. I mean, as a human being, to see that this could happen, you know, that they could be there. And it's just like, once they're there, then they're there and they're Disneyland and they have all that power and that money. But before they're there, you have a lot to say, right? So I'm just bringing that up. But that's why I came on, because I'm very interested in it and I already looked into it, and I'm not trying to dictate what happens there. I'm just very interested that it doesn't get destroyed for the people there. And I know, because I read in the newspaper, that there are Hawaiians already protesting that Polihali Beach is being kind of, too many people are camping there and stuff, and there are Hawaiians buried there also. So I know that it's already on the radar, but I think there's very few people involved in it. So that's why I came, and I just happened to find it because I thought, well, maybe I should transfer my studies to Honolulu because I'm so interested in this. And then I saw your thing, and I am just really overwhelmed by how great your program is. And I don't have anything to input it, but I just wanted to bring up that that's why I was interested, and that I hope that's on your radar, because I foresee that as a coming issue for you in Hawaii, that when that island is taken over by Disneyland.
Sure. No, thank you so much for that comment. You know, I think the truth is every inch and every acre of Hawaiian land that isn't safely in Hawaiian hands, with the ability to keep it within
Right.
community, is at risk to some capacity. And so what we try and, you know, the role that we try and play is supporting as many communities as we can, very intentionally helping groups that are fighting land management. You know, I do want to uplift the great work that Hui Makana āina Makana is doing in Hāʻina right now, along with Waipa and others, where they are gaining access to great amount of Hāʻina State Park that has been negotiated, you know, from the state into community land ownership. And from there, they're putting loikalo in the ground, you know, restoring fisheries and that kind of thing, and getting more and more acreage. And so, like, if our programs can just help them uplift, tell their story, get more access to funding,
Right.
well, that is access for more protection of land. And so if we can build, you know, programs like ours in as many communities as possible and help them fight, that's what's going to be necessary. This unfortunately is happening in every single backyard in Hawaii right now.
Right. Because Hāʻina State Park is on the North Shore, you know, and Pole, sorry, I'm not good at Hawaiian. I'm learning right now. I'm listening to all the stories that are recorded that they in Hawaiian and trying to learn, but that is not part of Hāʻina State Park. That's down in the south. It's down in the where right. So I don't know how protected
Aloha.
it is, you know.
Yeah, you're talking probably Koloa, but yeah, I mean, unfortunately, like, you know, we do our best. We go into community, we help support, but you know, community knows, community is fighting. We need to
I just wanted
continue
to bring that up because
their
that's why I'm
messaging.
so interested, because I don't want to see those places destroyed for the people who own them, you know.
Thank you.
And so I'm just, that's my interest. And your
Kanani,
presentation was really
Kanani, you had a
enthralling.
question.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do.
right, Kanani, yeah.
Aloha, aloha mai kako, aloha
Aloha.
e Keoni. Oh, mahalo nui for your presentation, and especially for the sharing of your genealogy, the sharing of your kumu, and the sharing of all of the intention that's happening and proliferating across the Purple Maiʻa enterprise and all the partnerships that you're with. And aloha e Susie. Hi, Tita. And so, this incredible harnessing of cutting edge innovation and new solutions for the new times that are already upon us, and that the old models are no longer working, and they're already showing, so many signs of what the demise of those old models of economy have reaped. And so what you're calling in intentionally, I mean, I'm just applauding it. What an Oweavy lens of leadership. Incredible movement, but it's so collective and collaborative. It's so kanaka. And so I just want to share with you that my kumu are the very same. I mean, at least the hilo side kind. And that I did recognize some of your ohana names. And just as I was wrapping some presents for the hapai ohana, kainanima, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to wrap that in the present too. So thank you, Keoni. My question is, the AI kind things. How can we map this change that we are heralding and intentionally calling in with the new signs on the horizon? Like how our navigators read early in the morning what the weather is going to be. How do we do that with our communities that are sovereignly claiming land? I mean, the victory of Makali'i and what's happened with Holomoana Heiau and that whole parcel. There's so much happening across the state. How can we use AI to look at those kinds of things and map it so that our people can have hope and inspiration?
Absolutely. I think it starts with these kinds of conversations and listening to how people are thinking. This is what we're trying to accomplish. A year ago, we ran a 3-day event, hackathon, focused on mo'okuauhau and genealogy. And basically, how can we use cutting edge technology to build power for Lahui? And it turned into ability to have a searchable Ku'e petition, ability to map yourself to your kupuna, ability from there to theoretically, we didn't build all this yet. The second part being could I get access to building an affidavit? Access to automating from the state vital records, my birth and death record. So I have my affidavit. I can go over land if I have to. I can also be a, protect EV, all these kinds of things. And so I think it's about, and also lots of questions of is it Pono to put our Jinji online? Should there be permissions? And so having that part of the conversation as well. So it's always community-led, community-built, community-supported. We haven't even felt that it's right yet to publicly launch that. So we'll, go to La Kuokoa and La Ho'iea and kind of test and get more and more feedback, and then continue to build systems like that based on feedback. And so we're just going to, continue to host events, give blueprints so other people can do so. But the stuff I saw over the last weekend with this machine learning hackathon, I've never seen stuff built that quickly. And so I think it was around people coming with really awesome community solutions and then co-creating and testing this stuff. And so the more that we can kind of create that Muli Vai, right, where we're just learning, sharing, experimenting, I think Vai comes from that.
Nice. Shucks, I was going to say one more thing and it escapes me, but just mahalo nui for being that Oweavy leader and calling in all of the change that we do need to see. Oh, I know what it was. As a lahui, we are in recovery and we're striving for thriving. But recovery means survival to sustainable, to resilient, to thriving. And what I see you doing is almost exponential movement. It's so accelerated, moving that recovery space. I mean, just to be able to connect birth and death, of our ancestors and genealogies, and then to the petition stance. That is huge medicine. That's what we need as a lahui. And when we look at it economically, to feel put back together again, the remembering is huge. So keep going, man. Keep going. That's the medicine we need of these times. Thank you.
Thank you. I do want to uplift my mother here, Diane, who's calling in from Virginia, that was an innovator in technology in the late 70s, early 80s, in mapping and GIS, and like really gave me access to like understanding how disaster relief happened at a really large scale, and how, you know, the first piece of software I was able to develop was a reflection on the great work she was doing. And as a diaspora growing up in Virginia, in a space in which I didn't look like others, constantly asking why I looked different. And it was her, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, who moved from Molokai to Virginia to be with us in those moments. And with, you know, they really helped me figure out my Oiwi identity, and then from there ask the question of what happened in our history and how do we fix it. And so my whole life asking her questions of how can we make things better, and her always guiding me along that path and challenging me at the right moments and asking me to go read and study and come back with answers, you know, gets me to a space in which now we can kind of do this and amplify it at scale. So thank you, Mom.
I mean, I think it's valuable to have that distant perspective too, you know, to see the forest for the trees. I mean, sometimes we cannot see. And I want to call in my mom, whose middle name is Virginia. And that, you know, there are the ancestors present that we call on all the time. And the clarity that you bring for us, it's awesome. So I'm just grateful to the ancestors that are present and coming through the good work that you're doing, and to keep on talking to them, keep on calling their names. Ola kainoa, ola, ola, ola naivi, mahalo.
Wow.
Okay, Makana, you have a question? Go ahead.
Aloha, Makana.
Aloha.
Good to see you. Thanks for
Hi,
joining.
Hi, Auntie Susie. Aloha ko. Thank you, Auntie Kanani, for sharing. I've been a part of a couple Purple Maiʻa meetings and events, and they were transformative for me as a youth in my community. We're gonna go with you. My question is, like, I feel like I have this conversation a lot with like my makua, who are from a very different generation than me, and even my like kupuna, of these like fears, but they're not able to be like verbalized well. Like they're just like anti-AI. So I guess my question would be, all of these innovations, you know, bringing up the next gen, how do you communicate that to a generation who's maybe not makoko for those conversations? And then like the part two of that is, what are some challenges that you've encountered in situations like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's a great question. You know, I think there's these moments in time in technology innovation in which the great challenge is loss of job and abuse, and, you know, internet launching, you know, search engines appearing, all these things did lead to loss of job, but also millions of new jobs that didn't exist before. And so I think it's a combination of, you know, these ways of innovation are happening, whether or not we're going to participate. And I think it's our kuleana, especially this past weekend, I'm now certain it's our kuleana to explore how powerful these tools can be if directed in the right direction. And so there are very many reasons why we should be concerned about the speed in which artificial intelligence is moving. In the path there, we can also kilo and figure out where there is opportunity to grow, you know, tremendous vibe, like true vibe for our community, and solution solve. And so to us, it's like, we're not going to think of every idea, but we can create space in which people can come and share, and then we can wrap technology around that. You know, that's good effort. You know, I think our CTO always likes to talk about, like, you know, machine learning and artificial intelligence is around you in so many different ways. You know, cars auto stopping and all this stuff, like it is happening. It is becoming the backbone of the internet. And so, you know, I don't have any negative reflection. If you know, a good % of people don't understand and are worried because there's legitimate concerns, but we feel that deep responsibility to just kilo and see where there is opportunity for us, because if people are going to lose jobs, if we can make a few 10, 20,000 jobs, then we can supplement and train, because there is that opportunity. You know, if this Wahine Annalie like does what she's going to do in computer vision, like there's a whole new sector of coral growth that could scale globally. You know, we have a company called Hohonu that's been doing this machine learning for about 6 years now, that was kiloed in a fish pond, started as computer vision, tracking the amount of fish coming in, and now they have contracts with NOAA doing the best flood prediction software in the entire world, like truly. And that was over 6 years of now, you know, patentable IP, and now he's hiring dozens of local people in all parts of that. You know, we have people going to every island, putting tide sensors into local ʻia now, and their cutting edge research is funding that. And so it's like, how do we find more jobs for our people, utilizing this technology in a Pono way, while also understanding that there are misuse of this. But if we're not in the conversation, it's going to happen at us, right? Like I am very vocal about the fact that Jeff Bezos and Amazon is occupying Sand Island right now, right? They're taking over our harbor and building what could turn into one of the largest logistics ports in the world, you know, and taking jobs from our unions, right? Those ports have been Kanaka jobs well before the overthrow, right? There's Kanaka organizing on the harbors during kingdom time. So labor efforts, Kanaka organizing, and resistance to capital existed well before the overthrow of our kingdom. And that's just the evolution of capital and Kanaka and economic systems. But when we see Amazon looking to bring what's going to end up being 500 jobs to Hawaii long term, 300 jobs in the factory and 200 jobs for drivers, and drivers that are not going to get full benefits because they're going to have to start their own subcontract companies and not get health insurance. So it's going to take jobs from our union drivers. It's going to take jobs from our union warehouses, and they're going to fully automate that with robots that will never scale. So 500 jobs, and they've taken the harbor, right? And so that is an abuse of automation software, and our unions can fight that, and we can back them as Lahui, while also understanding that if we're not building our own systems of liberation, this is going to continue to happen, and no one's going to come and save us, right? Like that's why I talked at the beginning about underdevelopment from occupation. If sorry if there's people working for the state here, I know intimacy, but you know, at the end of the day, the foundation of the state is based on occupation at gunpoint. And so the economic systems that created that were extractive and self-fulfilling, in which they're enriching themselves and moving capital off of our shores into offshore bank accounts. And so if we can use technology to build our own job sector, then we can move it in our own direction towards that area that we need. And so that is going to take technological innovation to do so. But the best thing we can do is continue to go into community, share what we're doing, do it in person. Kukai creators, right? Like what you did with the Aila'au video was so freaking fantastic and innovative and impressive and creative. And I think you were using technologies you'd never accessed before, right? Within that weekend, like you built something that we didn't even dream could be possible in that short amount of time with that animation that you did. And that's why we're doing this. Like, we're just going to come and we're going to show some tools and you guys run with it. And like, that's how we really build this long term.
Mahalo. Thank you.
Yeah.
Keoni, I wanted to ask you about political positioning. So, I mean, outside of, you know, needing funds to make this go, I mean, just that issue with the harbor and jobs and unions, you know, now you're in politics, or at least, you know, political strength, political muscle, political, you know, our ability to exercise our political strength. So where do you see, like, you guys need to have some help there, or where do you see yourself positioning yourself?
Yeah, I mean, as a national liberation movement, for our survival is how we're positioning ourselves. You know, I spent a lot of time in Kilo with our founders about, like, can we talk about ʻea publicly? And in my opinion, I wouldn't have joined this organization if we couldn't, because at that point we're talking about trying to build economics for a small amount of people that will never actually get out of this cycle of oppression and occupation. And so that is why we try and partner with funds that can understand that vision, and those that won't, we don't want to work with. You know, if that scares people, then why are you even in this space working on economic development? You're doing this for different purposes than the Lahui needs right now. And the Lahui needs to be Kanaka led, but for the 1.2 million, 4 million people that are here, if we actually have a strong national liberation movement, we can, you know, have access to all the resources that our kupuna built for us. We can offer things like universal basic income, free healthcare, free housing, like or free education. Like, we can actually give everyone a better quality of life if we move in this direction. And so the hope is that we can actually get mass support for this kind of movement, which now we have access to much larger, right? I mean, there's things that I don't want to totally say here, but, you know, some of the industries here that surplus value reinvested in the lahui frees us for generations, and that's our land, you know. And so how do we build parallel economic systems where we don't even have to fight what exists, we just build our own power, and when we put the kahea out to join us and to move in this direction, and just be very clear about what we're owed, what we are owed, what we are owed, is everything. And with that, we can take care of everyone here. And I think that's one way of putting it.
Keoni, are you guys have any legislative bills that you're putting forward this session, or that
So
you're
I'm
needing
super
support?
excited that, yeah, our co-founder, I didn't have time to put it in this presentation because I thought it was one program too many, but our co-founder, Kelsey, started a program a number of years ago called the Hawaii, or what is it, the Hawaii Food Plus Policy, where she trains UH college interns in the legislative process, particularly focusing in food systems and food legislation. And she's in the process now of building that out to actually, you know, in maybe in a year start to propose legislation. But she's been for years training, right? I'm influenced in our thematic systems training on her in many ways, building year after year legislative power, Lahui trained in the process of the legislative system to one day actually create a policy arm. And so this actually, like, the newest part of Mālama Studios is a food plus policy arm, initially focused on food systems, but can go from there. So today I would say no, but that is part of our roadmap.
Yeah.
So if it could just keep on your radar that is one of our tenants with the Native Chamber. So, you know, each year we are going to be looking to what we can support legislatively or back if there's certain bills either you're proposing or you need. And the other thing is just another time privately we can talk about it, but the food issue at the school is really a massive concern, and it's high on my radar and something I'm, you know, constantly trying to work on. So I don't know, I'm imagining that program you referenced is only on Oahu, but any of those sort of farm to school or, you know, food sovereignty initiatives,
Yeah,
I'm very interested in that.
Our hope is that, like, we create an engine here that can be dropped, and if you are a group like Hui Mao that has a lot of land and you know, small overhead, and you're growing food, can we help you get access to getting that into charter schools? And so the idea is, like, you know, at this point, if a corporation or individual subscriber is willing to pay $20 for you know, 2 to 3 meals, what is it? I think it has to be $20 a meal today. But if you're willing to pay $20 for an ipono meal of like 100% āina to table, traditional Hawaiian grown, Hawaiian produced and created gourmet meals, and you sign up for a month subscription, you can offset the cost to the charter school to be $5. And so at that point, portion of each meal you buy is offsetting so that charter school can pay $3 to $5 and get that food into the schools. And so that's a way to move outside of legislation. Obviously, any legislation to reduce that and fund that makes it easier, but that's a model that we can drop into any community. We don't need any kind of ownership over that.
You know, keep us in mind. It's a really big issue over here for all of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, Keoni, I mean, if you need to, or if you already have sort of a legislative hui of people in the legislature that are supportive of the things that you're doing, if you have that, great. If you don't have that, let us know. There's people on this call now who are have some strong connections in the legislature that can help you to build a little hui that every session you can come and put some stuff in there. And I know us as the chamber, that's our job. We can push it. We can connect with the other chambers. There's 4 of them across the state to try to get some of this stuff across. But yeah, it's fabulous what you're doing, man. Great.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
absolutely. So cool there.
Yeah. Okay, gang. You guys, any last questions now? We're over an hour now, but you know, everybody's got manao. I see. Oh, look, sister Misty went turn her camera on. That means she's ready. She ready for Vala'au. Okay, girl.
Aloha. I just wanted to support Purple Maiʻa. You know, we've partnered with Purple Maiʻa, as he had mentioned, through Kuka'i Creators, and it's an initiative that we run through Revitalize Puna, and it is through the
It's your
Council of
girl
Hawaii,
there.
the Disaster Recovery Division. We love Purple Maiʻa. We love working with Keoni, Mike, Victor, Donovan, and everyone really needs to jump on the programs that they have from Kiki to Kupuna, rooted in āina, and we look forward to working with them in the future, you know, and I know that the topics of political come up, Keoni, and political is personal, and you know, we all carry seats and we all need to steward them well. And you know, our grantees, some of our grantees are here on the call, Susie with Kuokala, Kevin Kushel with Paho'olava Museum, in addition to other Kanaka-led initiatives such as Namakahalo o Waipio, Maku'u Farmers Market, Pohaku Pelemaka. So, you know, the program that we have really want to encourage people to take part of what Purple Maiʻa has to offer. And any way that we can support you, we'd love to. And my partner is on the phone, on the Zoom as well, Kimo, and I share with him, and he visited Kuka'i Creators when you folks were in Puna, and he was like, "Oh, I know exactly what they're talking about," you know, and that was the first time that he heard it. So it's really good to be able to share with him the work that we're doing together, and we look forward to more partnerships in the future. Mahalo.
Mahalo.
Okay, anybody else? Any last comments, thoughts? Yeah, really, really good. So this is part of what we're trying to do with the chambers to you know, every month get content out there. So, you know, get the good EK out there so people can start to think about, you know, ways in which they can participate, right? Because lots of ground to cover. So yeah, I was really impressed by the width and breadth of the whole program. So really appreciate it. We got this thing recorded. Since we'll probably convert it to a YouTube link and then throw it up on our website so people want to watch it again. A lot of good content. So want to mahalo out. Yes,
Benson,
go
maybe
ahead.
just quickly, we could say some of the things that are coming up in the next few months that we have planned already.
Okay, well, I don't have a schedule in front of me right now.
I think it was Laura. We have
Repeat
Laura.
it.
Laura is doing.
Yeah.
We're doing a legislative piece next month in
Right.
January. And Pono, maybe you can say. I know Keoni and
Mana
Kiki are going to
Vahine
speak on
February.
Yep.
We're doing a Mana Vahine event. That we haven't kind of
Yeah, I've been talking
nailed down
to
whether it's in person or virtual, but
yeah, I've been
it's
talking
something that
about
we're exploring too.
about Misty about it.
Mhm.
But also we're gonna do Kiki's thing, right, in January.
Yeah, Keiki and Keoni.
Yeah.
Oh no, that'll be later
Oh,
on. Keiki and Keoni,
Yeah.
Ili Kupuna and Kumawahi initiatives.
Right.
That'll be further down.
We'll get on our
Hey, the
get on
more
our
the
list to
merrier.
make sure you get it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, make sure we have your contact information. If we don't,
No, yes,
put
mahalo.
it in the chat, and we'll make sure we get on our list, and you can get more good content like you got tonight. So, okay, everyone. Yep. Aloha, everybody. Thank you, MT.
Aloha.
Thank you,
Mahalo for your
everybody.
time.
Yeah. Mahalo,
Mahalo.
everybody. Take care. Aloha.
Mahalo.